Yeah, so I just quickly want to talk about this. So this is a chart on the Western District, which is uh, basically talking about Remo. And not all the towns in Remo, but the major towns were gazetted here. And the first one there is Shagamu, which is the biggest town in Remo. And you can see Shagamu is having 5,010 male, 7,383 female. This is population. So if you look at this side, it's talking about the population, male and female. And that here it's saying assets. So it's saying 2,175. Egusi was being paid 60 pounds. Then Odofi was paid 36. Odofi of this is Shoindo was being paid 36 pounds. And then Elepe was being paid 24 pounds. You can imagine, even Egusi, Odofi, they are well paid than Elepe. Let me say, in the recent times, I think Elepe is rated than these kings now. But of course, you can see that was the salary being paid to some of these kings. Although I'm still going to talk about others later. But for this record, you can see that that was what is being paid to Elepe, and Odofi was being paid more than Elepe. This is just the surprise for me, because I used to think that Elepe would have earned more than Odofi. But again, that's what we have there. And then we have Odetan. And then Odetan was having 1,127 male, and then 1,462 female, and that is giving us a total of about 2,600 people or 2,700 people, as the case may be. And then we talk about the money they were making was just like 464, about 465 pounds. And then you can see Alayode was being paid 48 pounds. Again, he was being paid more than Elepe and Odofi, but of course, Ewusi was earning more than him. And then Ishara, of course, we have the population there too, around 1,712 male, 2,098 female, and then they were making 690. So they were also earning or making more than Oderemo. And then the only Shara, but of course we know that now it's called Odemo of Shara is being paid 36 pounds, like Odofi of Shoindo. Then Akaka, they have the population of 275 male and 336 female, and they were making about 110 or 111 pounds. And then Alakaka was being paid 36. Again, it was being paid the same amount with Odofi. Of course, Elepe was paying less than all of them at that time. And then Ipara, if you look at Ipara, was having 301 male and 554 female. If you look at all these statistics, you see that there are more female than male. And again, I'm going to explain that it is because usually at the time there was slave trade and men were the target. And then men also go to war, men also lose their lives in warfare and the rest of it. So that is how we have more female than male. And then if you look at Ipara, they had 143, they make between 144 pounds every year in assets. That is what they have in assets. And then the Odepara was being paid 24 pounds, just like the same thing as Elepe. So both of them had the lowest salary according to that. Then Ogere is having 1,099 male, 1,189 female. Again, they made 400 pounds. In that list, they are number 4 in terms of assets. And the Ologere was paid 36 pounds, just like other prayer fathers who are earning well, apart from Olayode and Ewuse. And then we have Iperu. Iperu was having more population than most of the other cities, apart from Shagamu. And Iperu had 2,086 male, 2,064 female, and they were making approximately 840 pounds per year. In asset, they have approximately 840 pounds in asset, and the Alakweru was being paid 60. The Ologere was being paid 36. So Ologere was being 36, but I was talking about Peru here. So Alakweru was being paid 60 pounds. And then Ikene was having 1,335 male and 1,860 female. They were making approximately 567. And then Alakene was being paid 42. Again, Alakene was only been paid a little bit lesser than Ewusi and Alayode. Apart from that, then Ilishon was having 828 and male and 122 1206 female, and then again they had in asset 371 in asset pounds, and then Oba of Ilishon was paying 36 pounds per year. And then we had Irolu, that's 350 male, 452 female. And then the Inase, they had 144 pounds, and then Irolu was paying 36 pounds. So I'm on Ilara now. So the population of Ilara, male was 185, female 227, and the asset was put around 75 pounds per year, and then the Alara was being paid 36 pounds, which is above average of, or like almost like half of whatever the asset of the community was. So that was a lot compared to their assets. And then Ogijo was having the population of 945 male and 888 female. Community asset was put at 347 pounds, and then the Oloja of Ogijo was earning 36 pounds. Of course, there are a lot of other towns in Remo, so this is just a little out of the 33 towns. And even in Shagamu alone, there are a lot of towns apart from the three just mentioned. And you can see that the Akaribo was not put there because that was the paramount ruler, and that is why they just say village head salary. So at this time, these people were the village heads. They were not like kings, so they didn't see them. It's like kinglets. So they're like bailies. So under the British regime, many of them were seen as chiefs, not as kings. And it was only the Akaribo that was actually added to the role of kings in 1903 by the Oni of Ife. So the only person that was recognized in Remo as a king then was the Akaribo of Remo. Others were also kings, but they are recognized as chiefs or village heads. So this is actually basically a map showing the salary. So if you are from any of these towns, now you have idea of what your town used to look like when you compare your town with other towns in terms of assets, in terms of population, and in terms of what your king earned during this period. And largely this is around the 19th century, late 19th century, and early 20th century.